Hi guys, it's Mark Zicree, Mr. Sci-Fi, also Mark Zicree, author of the Twilight Zone Companion, and this is your Twilight Zone Minute. The other day we were talking about When the Sky Was Opened, which was based on a short story by Richard Matheson with a script by Rod Serling, and Serling basically kept the fantasy notion of people disappearing with no one remembering they ever existed, but changed every other aspect of the story so that it was astronauts and a first trip into space and so forth. With his second adaptation of Richard Matheson's work, Rod Serling took Matheson's short story Third from the Sun, and in this case he stayed very, very close to the original material. And it's a wonderful episode with all sorts of great actors. Fritz Weaver, who would later be seen in The Obsolete Man, and Joe Moross, who would be seen in The Little People, and it has a wonderful feeling of imminent nuclear war and a lot of feeling of the McCarthy era, the suspicion, the people spying on each other, all of this stuff. And Richard L. Baer, who directed this episode, told me, and he actually lived to over 100 and was in amazing shape at that advanced age, he told me that he deliberately chose some odd shots and odd angles to suggest that we weren't exactly on Earth, and so he shot one thing through the coffee table, and he had this sort of shot looking up from a tire of a futuristic car as it's driving. A lot of really odd, what are called Dutch angles, these odd angles, and it really works. And it's a great episode. And Serling really respected writers, so when he had a story that would work without much tampering, he didn't futz with it. He knew quality when he saw it, and it's a wonderful episode. It's very much of its time, but also our time, dealing with how we protect our families, how we go through our lives, how we find safe havens. Another interesting thing about Third from the Sun is that, like a lot of science fiction short stories written in the 50s, it has a twist ending. A good percentage of science fiction stories from that era did. And so Twilight Zone, this was perfect for Twilight Zone because it had those twist endings. It's a cookbook, things like that. And so it was just a natural. Now, another thing that Third from the Sun benefited from extensively was the fact that it was shot at MGM, and there was one great big budget science fiction movie of the 50s, and that was Forbidden Planet. It was shot in color. It had an astonishing production design. Robbie the Robot debuted in it, many things. And so Twilight Zone used every little bit of Forbidden Planet. And so, including some of the actors, a lot of the actors, such as Anne Francis, appeared in Twilight Zone. But this episode in particular uses the exterior of the flying saucer that's seen in that movie and the interior control room, that big globe, the astrogation globe. And so without Forbidden Planet being at MGM, they may not have done this episode because they might not have had the interior and exterior of a spaceship right there on hand. If they had to design and build it from scratch, they might not have been able to do it. So that's about it for now. If you want more on Twilight Zone, go to twilightzonecommentary.com. I'm going to be doing commentaries of over 100 Twilight Zone episodes, and you can basically get them delivered to you each week for a year, and right on an app that's very handy to use, and it'll be like sitting with me while you watch the Twilight Zone. It's going to be a singular and very, very cool experience. So we'll talk again real soon, and thanks so much.